Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. I appreciate all the previous comments and likes that you guys have left, and if you aren't subscribed already, be sure to click here and join the family. I post random videos from DIYs to bullet journals to hair videos, so I hope you guys continue to enjoy them. Now, in the last video, I promised I would follow up with the tools and supplies video, so here it is. Now, as I've mentioned, I am not like a bullet journal pro, so I'm still collecting my tools and figuring it out, but I hope you guys enjoy the ones that I do have available to show you. So just to give some background, I am someone who enjoys color and doodling in my bullet journal. Not everyone is into this type of aesthetic, and who knows, in the future I may not be into this, but for right now it has been fun experimenting with these different tools and colors, especially because I am an artist at heart and I wanted to kind of get back to my roots and back into doing freehand drawing and writing and hand lettering. So if you guys want to see more, stay tuned. Alright, so we are starting out with the Zebra mild liners. These are by far one of the best products I've purchased for myself just in general, for school, for bullet journaling, for work, because they are the perfect highlighter. Now, even though they're called mild liners, it's only because the color is just not as bright on the eyes. You guys are, probably used to the traditional highlighter with the bright neons and pinks, and these are more like markers, but they still provide enough color to work as a highlighter, and I am in love with these. Now, you can buy them in single packs or you can buy them in 3-packs. I bought the 3-pack. Now I'm going to show you guys how I color these in. I kind of use them in more of a highlighter way, but then I also use them as markers because they don't bleed all the way through your pages. So they're good for shading in and coloring in and tracing over, and they won't overdo it. I've tried to use regular markers when I first started out, and it ruined my pages. It smeared and it just bled all the way through, and it looked terrible. It looked like a hot mess. So these just work a lot better. Now, one thing I love about these markers is that you can draw thick lines like this just by pressing down on it with an angle. And if you decide to use the tip, you can get a very tight, fine line, which is also amazing. So you don't have to buy 2 different types of markers. It's like a 2-in-1. These are not very expensive at all. And like I said, it's worth it for the quality just because you don't get a ton of bleed through your page. You get a shadow, but it's not terrible, especially once you start writing on the other side. So these to me are like bullet journal, office supply staples, and you can find them on Amazon. Now onto color pencils. Now these are not your good old Crayola color pencils with the sharpener on the back. No, this is what I would consider like a higher grade, a higher quality artist type of tool. Now, because I do consider myself a weekend artist, I decided to go all out and buy the best quality that I could find in my local art supply store. So the Prismacolor color pencils are known to give a great color payout, and what that means is you can press down hard or lightly and still get a great, or I guess a saturated amount of color on your paper. And this is a 24-pack, so it comes with these 2 layers like this. And what I love most about these is that they're easy to commute with, just because it's in that thin, tin, steel case, whatever you want to call it. It's very easy to slide into my purse and go, and it's not too heavy. Now here is how I use my color pencils. I use them pretty much on every page. They're great for shading. Like I said, if you press down very hard or even just a little bit harder, it almost doesn't leave any of the paper showing through. But then also, if you just lightly shade, you can achieve things like this, like coloring over letters or shading through boxes, and you see it's just a light gradient effect. It's not too harsh. So that's why I love these. They're great quality and they're worth it. Now, if you don't want to go that far out, Crayola color pencils will work just fine. That's what I started with, and you can see my pages still look great, and I was still able to accomplish what I needed to. Here I'm just showing you guys some examples. So again, if you just lightly press down and kind of hold the pencil at an angle, don't apply too much pressure, you can still get a nice shade. Press a little harder, you get a bit more color payoff, and etc. You get the point. Now onto another staple, Fineliner Pens. Everyone is into different type of felt tip pens, but the staplers are definitely my favorite. You get a nice array of colors, and for me, it's actually efficient. They make a larger pack and a smaller one, but this one does the job. I buy the pack that's half this size, and it carries a lot of the primary colors, but I decided to go with this pack, just kind of, you know, one and done. Because these fine liners are a staple, you can see that I use them pretty much on every layout that I do. It's what it is. And really the black liner that's in this pack is one that I use kind of like a staple to draw all of my boxes and my structure and my layouts. So I would say when it comes to any tool, the one that I use the most are going to be these Staedtler fine liners. Now they do bleed a little bit through the back, but it's only if you press down really hard. So as time has gone on, I've kind of learned to not press down as hard, and it still delivers, you know, a good color payout, but not to the point where the other page is like just not usable. And when it comes to these fine liners, I don't really use them to shade or color in because like I said, they bleed, and to me it just doesn't look good on the back. And there were certain times I started to shade with them and I was like, oh crap, why am I doing this? It's totally gonna bleed on the other side. And so I end up having to skip the page, and then I most likely don't use it. So these are mostly for tracing, and then I color in with a color pencil or maybe like a mild liner. But these are not the best for shading, guys, just a tip. I'm gonna show you just a sample of what this fine liner actually accomplishes. And the black one is never in this pack because I keep it as my primary tool when like writing or doing notes. The fine liners, the only thing to be careful with is that if your hand brushes against it while it's still drying, it will smear. But otherwise, a great tool and a staple for me. Now onto these Tombow brush pens. When I say these were such a struggle to get, it was like everything that I did went wrong when it came to getting these pens, and then they finally came through like a week and a half ago. So what I love about this pen is that this is to me the staple in the bullet journaling world when it comes to hand lettering, because it has this tip on it that kind of delivers like a watercolor type of effect. Has a very fine point, but then if you press down on the side, it's very thick. So I love this tool. To me, it's totally worth it, especially as someone who is an artist. So I will show you guys really quick what this tip looks like. You see, it's almost like a paintbrush. It's so thin on the end, but if you press down hard enough, you do get a lot of color on the page. So do be careful because it can bleed. Now, I've used this recently on a couple of my new layouts. Like I said, I am not perfect with hand lettering. I had a couple people ask me, and when it comes to the Tombow dual pens, I'm still learning. So I kind of use them for a little bit of like writing here and as backdrop letters, but I haven't gone crazy with the hand lettering because I'm still figuring it out, and I've kind of messed up a few times even after I practice. So I started it here with this Hello November, you know, little quote, and I think it came out okay, but it could have been better. And when it comes to hand lettering, it takes a lot of practice. I've had a couple people ask me to do like a hand lettering, you know, tutorial, but I don't feel like I'm that great at it. But if you guys do want to see how I do the fonts that I use, which are like a total of 5, just like this video or let me know below, and I guess I'll come out with one. But I'm still learning myself, and there are a lot of people on YouTube who are really good at hand lettering, but I feel like for me, I'm still figuring it out. Especially because I just got these dual brush pens, so I'm gonna need some time, you guys. I need some warm-up time. Just takes practice, but definitely a staple if you want to get better at your hand lettering and, you know, basic shading in the bullet journal. And last but definitely not least, this beautiful pen pouch. And I want to say I got it made from ASOS, but it has this awesome color on it. It kind of looks like, I don't know, like a mermaid's pouch. Like if a mermaid were to have a pencil pouch, this would be the one. So now I'm going to show you guys what I have inside. I have these like memo sticky pads, and you can see I still have a ton of them because I don't really use this. I got this from Miss A, which is like that $1 online store, but they just don't stick that well. Like I feel like every time I stick them on, I turn around, they're in the bottom of my purse, like they've fallen out of the book. And so I just don't use them. They're very cheap. I mean, I guess you get what you pay for, but I do think they're cute. And this is just some washi tape that I have, which is like, you know, the handlebar mustache. I thought it was cute, and it was on sale at Michael's, so I grabbed some. I've seen people use a lot of washi tapes in their bullet journals, but I don't as much. Maybe I will now because this is kind of cute, but you guys can pick this up. They're pretty cheap, maybe like 50 cents. And you can get kind of creative if you're not very good at doodling. Now here's my Prisma eraser. This eraser is the best because it can get anything out. It can get out regular pencil and even the Prismacolor pencils, which are very saturated. And of course a whiteout pen because everyone makes mistakes, especially me. Now one thing that's not great is you guys can see when you do make a mistake, it leaves that very like bright white color on the page, but you kind of don't have a choice because a lot of bullet journals are not made with that bright white color. So this is kind of what it looks like, but for me, I'd rather it look like that and to have like a huge scribble or a cross out on the page. And this ruler I got off Amazon. I love it because it has a metric table on the back, but it's also like the stainless steel material, so it's very durable. I feel like any plastic ones that I get tend to break in the bottom of my bag or my pencil pouch. And what I love about the Moleskine is that it has a pocket where I can keep the ruler in here so I never forget it because I tend to leave it places. So now I have a silver Crayola color pencil just because I do not have this color in my Prismacolor pack. I have a Sharpie, which I never use in my bullet journal. I have my standard Papermate Sharp Writer pencils. I love these, and this is of course the number 2 lead. Some backup pens. I have my Energel from Pentel. This is a pretty good pen. I love the way that it writes, but it's more of like my everyday. If I'm out and I need to sign something or I'm like doing a form, that's what I use. This is also another backup pen. It's more of like a ballpoint pen. It's not my favorite, but again, it gets the job done and it does write pretty smoothly. Now my Stabilo or Stabio 0.88 fine 0.4 felt tip. I don't know why I didn't buy the full pack of this, but now that I have it and I've written with it lately in like my personal journal, I've fallen in love with this pen, so maybe I'll go back and buy some more. Now the Le Pen, this was the first type of like felt tip that I bought when I was starting a bullet journal and starting to get back into art again, but I wasn't in love with them. I don't know, I feel like they're very small and so they're hard to write with and your hand slides, so I tend to not use them as much. And the Stapler is still my staple pen. Like I just use this for everything. I feel like again the color payout is amazing. When it says it writes black, it is black. It's definitely my go-to pen, but if this runs out, I'll definitely have a backup, of course, because I have a ton of pens, but this one is my favorite. This is the one that I use to draw all of my outlines, my titles, my headers. It's this pen. Even some of my hand lettering is done with this Stapler pen, and it turns out amazing each time. The only thing to keep in mind is that it can smear, and on some of my pages you can even see that it bleeds through a little bit. I've been getting into this Pilot fine liner. I don't know why. I want to say I found this pen at work and I was like, okay, this is a pretty good pen, and now I've continued to use it throughout the weeks because it's a definite close to the Stapler. Like it becomes very close. Color payout is great and it doesn't smear as much. It dries very quickly, which is always a perk. Now to the ultimate staple, the actual journal. I use a Moleskine. Now I know a lot of people use the I think it's the Lichtterm or Leuchtturm, but I just didn't really get into that one. This one is very lightweight, it's inexpensive, and I don't know, it's just my go-to. Moleskine has never done me wrong. It has a page divider which is hanging at the top. Some journals have 2, one works fine for me, and of course it has the elastic to hold it closed, so I love that, but this is my go-to. They do make the Moleskine in a hardcover, but I decided to go with the more bendable one because of the flexibility and the fact that it's lightweight and I can carry it in my backpack or in my purse with ease. That is about it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this tools video where I show you how I accomplish all of these layouts that I think you guys really enjoy and I enjoy, of course. If you guys want to see more videos like this or more how-tos with specific tools, let me know below. And also, if you're new here to my channel, welcome again and thank you for all the love and support that you guys have shown. If you're not subscribed, be sure to do that below by clicking the red subscribe button. Thumbs up if you enjoy videos like this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!